Hi friends, good evening doston. Welcome to another session of Tech Tablet Daily Dose with Varun Rao. In today's session, we would be looking at some questions related to ABAP and what are the general expectations from an ABAPer in every company. So please do subscribe to Tech Tablet, my dear friends, for a everyday review on your syllabus of SAP and a daily dose of the same. So, without wasting time, let us quickly go ahead and understand what is the aim of today's session. So, the aim of today's session is to go through some frequently asked ABAP questions which are technical in nature, and then business expectations from every interviewer with respect to an ABAPer, and then how do we answer these questions in an interview. So, let us look at one by one, my dear friends. Let us firstly start with the business expectations from an experienced ABAPer. Now, no matter even if you have experience of 1 year or 3 years or five, if you are all falling under the category of 5 years, my dear friends, then it is always essential to have knowledge on RECEF, which is workflow, reports, interface, conversion, enhancement, and forms, my dear friends. RECEF objects are always a good to know, and it is a mandatory that you have knowledge on at least some of these. Then hands-on knowledge on at least one of the data migration tool, then exposure to at least some or one of the standard ECC modules like ABAP with SD or maybe MM or PP or PP or PM, etc., like that. And if you know Webdin Pro also, then it is a plus and it will put you above the others, my dear friends. In today's generation, it is also important to have knowledge of object oriented ABAP, because with the way ECC is upgrading, it is essential that you have knowledge of object oriented ABAP also, my dear friends. So let us look at some basic technical questions that are asked in SAP ABAP interview. Now, the first one is, what is SAP ABAP, my dear friends? Not to worry, that it's a very small question. We would be taking up as many questions as possible in the sessions to come. So this is the first session of SAP ABAP technical interview questions. So what is ABAP? ABAP or SAP ABAP is nothing but a software provided by SAP for ERP, which is Enterprise Resource Planning, and this is used by huge companies or big companies to manage their daily affairs, which is any business related information or transaction, and this is done by using RECEF techniques, my dear friends. Okay, so this is what SAP ABAP is all about. Now in ABAP, what is the difference between a table and a structure in data dictionary? Now the T code for data dictionary is SE11, my dear friends, and when we are talking of the difference between a table and a structure, initially data can be stored in tables, but the same data storage does not happen in structure, my dear friends. Then a table can have or it should have a primary key, but the same is not mandatory for a structure. Then the table has technical attributes, but a structure does not have anything as such. So these are some basic differences that you have to remember and answer in your interviews, my dear friends. Then secondly, the third question is, what are the various ABAP editors and why do we use them? So we have two ABAP editors, my dear friends. The first one is SC38 and the second one is SC80. SC80 being the object navigator. And in SC38, what we do is we create programs and then we view the online reports and we perform all the development of any object in this SC38. But then, if you're talking of SC80, we can do all what we do in SC38, and apart from this, we also have some additional features like we can create packages, function groups, module pools, classes, and we have the option of BSP applications also. So these are the two applications, my dear friends, for editors in SAP ABAP, and in these two, SC80 is nothing but an additional featured or enhanced version of the latter. Then we have, what is the difference between dialogue programming and a report? It's a very small difference, my dear friends. A report is firstly an executional program, while a dialogue or a module pool is a module pool program, right? And this can be executed via transaction. Okay, and dialogue programming is used for customization of screens, and this does not happen in reports as such. So the difference is very small, my dear friends. It is not very huge. It is just a very minor difference that it's an executable programming language, executable program, and this is a module pool program. And secondly, it is dialogue programming or module pool programming is used for customization of screens. Then we have what are the different layers in R3 system architecture, my dear friends. This is a very basic question, something that we learn right in the first class of SAP. We have three layers, which is presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. Wherein in database layer you have all your data stored. In the application layer you have all your applications for the same data running up and live. And in the presentation layer is where you have your end user who is able to see your developed applications for in the required software, my dear friends. Right. Then the next question is, why do we use Pretty Printer? We use Printer only to format the ABAP code to make it look beautiful or good. We use Pretty Printer, my dear friends. That's all. Then comes an important question from an interview point of view. That is, what is the difference between SAP script and smart forms? So again, here also the differences are not very large, at least from an interview perspective. Though when we work or when we are on a development paradigm, the differences are huge. But still, SAP script is firstly client dependent, and it has no function module which is generated, my dear friends. And scripts can be converted into smart forms, and then we use the program sf underscore migrate if you want to convert script to smartphone. And then we have only one page that is possible in SAP script, and we have this protect and protect command that is used for page protection. But when we are talking of a smartphone is client independent, and it generates a function module whenever it is activated, and smartphones are not to be converted into SAP script, my dear friends. So this difference is to be identified here, that SAP scripts can be converted into smartphones, but the vice versa cannot happen. And then the option of protect your page, here we only have a checkbox that is to be ticked, unlike what we have in SAP scripts. In SAP scripts, as we have seen, we have protect and end protect command which we have to be using, my dear friends. Right. Now let us look at the different types of data dictionary objects. That is, when you enter SC11, you are able to see certain data dictionary objects. So today we will have a look at that. So in order to understand that, firstly, what is data dictionary? Data dictionary is nothing but it's a central source of information for all the data in your information management system, my dear friends. Here you have the metadata of it all. So in data dictionary, we have something which is provided by the SAP only, and some which are integrated. So we have three levels of ABAP dictionary, that is tables and structures, data elements, and domains, my dear friend. So we will be looking at first three, which is tables and structures, data elements, and domains initially. So to start off with, we'll start with domains. Domains describes the technical character of any table field, my dear friends. Now, every field has its characteristics which are technical. So, all these would be discussed in the domain. And you have whatever are the fields referencing or referring to the same domain, all these would be used. Then we have data element. What does data element do? It only describes the role played by a field in every technical context. Okay, and then we have fields of semantic meaning, and they also contain the field level information, that is data elements. And finally we have tables. They represent the database tables where actually the data is stored, as we were talking a couple of questions earlier, my dear friends. And here the tables can be defined independently of the database in ABAP dictionary, and these the fields of these tables are defined within the SAP ABAP data type and with a length. So all these happen in the table, my dear friends. It is nothing but where you store all the fields and their information. And then we have the structures. Structures are record declarations that actually do not correspond to the database table, my dear friends. They are just user defined data types, and they are defined like a table, and they can be addressed from any ABAP programs also. They contain data only at the runtime. People, please keep this in mind, and they do not store data like tables. So this is the difference between structure and a table also. Now we have some aggregated objects of ABAP in the same dictionary, which is views, search helps, and lock objects. Now, when we are talking of views, my dear friends, like why do we use a view? It is to be, it is the data of view is actually not physically stored. Firstly, now we will just talk about some key points on views, my dear friend. Now whenever you want any data, or if on a view, it is to be tailored according to the requirements. So this is just a view. And then we have search helps. Now search help is a tool which helps you to search data for any record in your SAP system. And an efficient and a user friendly search, as always assists its users where the key of a record is not known also, right? And then we have lock objects. Now what are lock objects? These are set and released by calling certain function modules, my dear friends, and these function modules are generated automatically, and they are nothing but they are just synchronized by a lock mechanism. Now when you do not want something or some program to be changed, then we use this lock objects, my dear friends. So this is what we have about data dictionary and its objects. Now the other question is, how many types of tables exist in uh, C11, and what are they? Now we have three types of tables, people, which is transparent, pooled, and cluster. Now firstly we'll talk of transparent tables. They exist with the same structure both in dictionary as well as in database, and there is no difference. So as the name goes, that is why they are transparent, my dear friends, because they exist with the same structure both in dictionary as well as in the database. Then we have pooled tables. These are nothing but logical tables that must be assigned to a table pool when they are defined, or else it's of no use. Pool tables, they are used to store control data, and you have several pooled tables that can be combined in one table pool. Okay, and then finally we have cluster tables. These are also logical tables that are assigned to table cluster again, and they are used only when they are defined. So cluster tables also can be used to store control data like pooled tables, and they can also be used to store temporary data or text like any documentations also. So this is the difference between all the three kinds of tables in S11, my dear friends. Now please, could anyone tell me what is the major difference between a standard table, pool table, and a structured table, my dear friends? We will talk about this, about all the technical level differences of transparent, pooled, and cluster in the upcoming video, my dear friends. And now let us look at the events in classical reporting, how and why they are used. So the first is initialization. This event is used to initialize any values that we start with. Then we have at selection screen. Now when any user enters the values in the fields of selection screen and they click on execute button, then this event gets triggered, my dear friends. Like, have you understood? This is triggered when the user enters any values in the fields of selection screen. Okay, now we have start of selection. Now this is the first event of your entire list. Once all the events are triggered for the selection screen, the data is received from the database based on start of selection. Then you have end of selection, which is just opposite to that. Then you have top of page, which in case the event is triggered when we write the first write statement, or whenever a new page is triggered, then we have a top of page event which is triggered. And end of page, this event is triggered when the page is generally ending, my dear friends, or whenever the this event is generally triggered when end of page is reached. So these are some important events of any classical reports, my dear friends. So I hope you have found today's session interesting and useful. Please do subscribe, share, and comment if there's anything else that you're looking for. I hope this helps. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.